I have a lesson for you today. This is the second in our series of lessons on how to paint. This one we're going to do a landscape. And in this landscape, I want you to understand 5 basic principles. The first of these principles is reflection and the rules that govern it. The second is elliptical perspective and the rules that govern it. Then we want to talk about texture and contrast and the way that color changes as distance increases. Now our first demonstration, the most difficult, will be elliptical perspective. Here the elliptical perspective is demonstrated by a series of discs that I've cut from white cardboard and placed on a flat table. Now you'll observe that they're all the same size. The distance from here to here changes as things get further away. You expect that, things which are closer to us appear larger than things that are farther from us. But also, and what's most important, is the distance from here to here changes more quickly as distance increases. So that the ellipse that we see in the foreground here is actually rounder than the ellipse we see back here. This is very important in establishing a plane. Now I'm going to draw on this first ellipse here, I'm going to draw an irregular shape. Here's an irregular shape. Certainly not a circle, certainly not an oval anymore, but you'll notice that that ellipse, the picture on the ellipse, has been distorted in the same way that the circle has been distorted. The width here remains approximately the same, but the distance from here to here has been dramatically changed. Anytime we see an object on a plane, that object's vertical axis, the vertical to the picture plane, is changing most dramatically as distance increases. So now if I put this same object back here, it's even thinner. Can we even see that? There are 2 things that we need to know about ellipses. The longest line that can be drawn through the center of an ellipse is called the major axis. From our point of view, that's this cross piece here. That's the major axis. The other thing we want to know about is the minor axis, and that's the shortest line that can be drawn through the middle of an ellipse. This is the minor axis. When this plane is tilted, when we see this ellipse at an angle, you'll notice that now the major axis, the long line here, is slanting downhill. This describes an incline. The minor axis describes the distance an object is from the picture plane. The major axis describes the tilt of that ellipse. All objects can be placed inside an ellipse, and those ellipses are how we best gauge the distance and angle of objects we see on plane.